Isabel Blair was 34 and her friend Marian Coutee was 31 when they went missing in July of 1989. This is Hold My Sweet Tea. Good morning, or at least it's morning for me. I'm Pearl.
And I'm Holly, and it's cold in here.
It is very cold in here.
We've got the AC cranking this morning because you never know in the South when it's going to be hot and when it's going to be cold.
And I wore shorts because it's definitely hot out.
Right.
And I haven't worn shorts in, I don't even know how long. Right. At least not outside my house.
Look, my legs are so white they glow.
Mind you, I have a moon tan.
Same. But I do like your shirt. It's so cute.
Oh,
it's a little
thank
Salem
you.
Apothecary shirt.
Yeah.
We were just talking the other day about maybe booking a little quick girls trip to Salem.
A hop, skip, and a jump.
Yes. So if you guys know any good hot spots besides the normal, houses and places.
Yeah.
Because I definitely want to go to...
something a little more obscure.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to know.
Absolutely. I definitely want to go to Killstar, and I want to go...
Yeah, because we're going to have to make the best out of, hit the most in the least amount of time.
We're going to wear our walking shoes, and we're going to do a lot of walking. Absolutely.
So I saw in one of our groups the whole who's a witch question.
Did you see that I answered that question?
Yes, I did. I was just laughing because immediately after, a moderator had to be like, "Hey,
right.
do not be judgy, do not be a biatch, because this is not what it doesn't mean what it used to mean."
Yeah, don't start throwing your thoughts and prayers. But also, my friend Robin tagged me in that, which I thought was hilarious. So I'm like, okay, let me find out what she needs this
You're like,
for.
Let me throw you some Appalachian granny magic.
I guess I'm the neighborhood witch. So literally, my Wi-Fi at my place says House of Witchcraft. So when other people...
it's like the deterrent. Don't be trying to use my Wi-Fi.
Right. And then so does my my Ring doorbell. It's named House of Witchcraft. Mm-hmm. So whenever somebody passes in front of my house, it says, "Someone's at your House of Witchcraft." It's hilarious. But yeah.
On Life 360, when someone gets home, it literally says, someone is in your garage at the Green Mile, dead man walking.
Oh my gosh. See, we love doing the funny stuff. I don't want to be like, your son's home. Yeah. Okay, well.
Well, there's the word green in our street name, so that's why I did that.
Oh, I know, because every time, the first time I went over there, it kept repeating the street name, and I'm
oh my gosh.
Stop it!
It does, it's horrible.
Turn here on blah, blah, blah. Turn here on blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, stop!
And it does that because the entire, it makes a whole loop, but it's you have to make turns because it's not a circle.
Yeah.
And so it's despite the fact that it is not round, every street in there is the exact same name because it just goes around.
All the way around,
it's
right.
It's so stupid.
So the GPS just keeps saying street name over and over. And I'm like, why? Why does your neighborhood have to be like this?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, I found out what she needed it for, and I gave her a good basic banishing spell.
Helpful.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
The neighborhood witch. I like it.
That's so funny. Call on Holly.
Right.
All right, I will. I guess today we're going to talk about Isabel Blair and her friend Marian Coutee. Isabel was like 34 and Marian was 31 in 1989, which is when they go missing.
Oh.
Yeah. So interesting. The two were last seen in the vicinity of Alexandria on US 71 South on July 2nd, 1989. Sadly, there is like not a single damn article about their actual disappearance.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Can't find nothing in the old ancient newspaper archives. Nothing.
The microfiche.
Right. But we can still talk about it.
Yes.
So Isabel Blair was married to Robert Brunson Blair, and he was the son of the late state senator Cecil Blair. At the time of her disappearance, Robert was 41 years old. They had married in May of 1985, and on June 22nd of 1989, Blair filed for legal separation from Isabel. The next month, she's missing. Like, not even a whole month.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's June 22nd, and then she's missing on July 2nd.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was a short time.
Yeah. The marriage was a tumultuous one. It is said that Marian was actually trying to help her friend leave Blair. Sheriff Hilton of the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office
Rapides.
said that during the initial investigation of the missing women, Blair was very evasive. He tried to avoid answering questions about the last time he saw the women and where he saw them. It was even difficult to really make Blair a strong suspect at the time of the investigation. However, he obviously remained on law enforcement's radar. They're gonna.
Right. Absolutely.
You were married to one of the victims.
Mm-hmm.
Who do they look at first? Or should they look at first, always and forever?
Always the spouse.
Always. Whether you be a man or a woman, you're always the first suspect.
Number one, yep. Because you have the motive.
Yep. And it's, sadly, I feel like a little more often than not,
Yeah.
it usually is the spouse.
It is.
In some capacity. Sometimes, everything looks like they're completely innocent all this time, and then come to find out they, hired somebody to do it.
Right. There's been so many of those.
Or blackmailed someone into doing it.
All of a sudden go out of town right when that person's
perfect
murdered,
little
alibi or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they come home and they're like,
oh my God.
I found my wife dead, or I found my husband dead. And sure you did.
Yeah.
You knew he was there.
Who did you hire?
So apparently they could not even obtain any permission from Blair to search his property. And they could not get a warrant to do so because there wasn't any evidence he was involved.
Yeah.
I'm, of course, assuming that part because the break in the case came when a tip was given 30 years later to the original investigator, Major Mark Baden. This tip was that some Blair family property had been sold. This property just so happens to sit on US 71 South in Alexandria.
And 30 years later. Wow.
So this prompted reopening the case. This property was nearby the victim's last known location. So obviously, we want to see.
Yeah, let's investigate.
So on October 10th, 2019, a pond on the property was searched and a vehicle was discovered.
Dun, dun, dun.
The vehicle was consistent with the one that Isabel and Marian were using during the time of their disappearance. It literally took them 2 days to hoist this truck.
Oh, I bet it was probably settled in the mud.
Like it had been there for a really long time.
30 years. It had worked its way down in there and
that guy settled in.
Yep.
So, and I know that there's probably, like, not really much they could get out of the truck itself because it has been submerged forever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did the whole evidence and water thing and whatever, but 30 years is a little drastic.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm sure the only thing that proves is obviously now him or someone in his family had some sort of involvement because this used to be his family's property and this truck is in the pond.
Right. So now it's like, well, where do we go from here?
Yeah, we are circling back. So on October 16th, 2019, Sheriff Hilton announced the arrest of the then 71-year-old Robert Brunson Blair on 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Ooh.
They obviously served a search warrant at that point for his property as well. And the search warrant was served at an undisclosed location near the residence of Robert Blair. Sheriff's investigators also had representatives from Louisiana's State Repository for Missing and Unidentified Persons, also known as FACES, and a Rapides Parish District Attorney, as well as the coroner's office helping them. It was then reported that items of evidence consistent with human remains were found. Now, they don't say whether or not those human remains belong to the ladies, but I would have to guess that they do.
I mean, you found the truck.
Now you found some bones somewhere else.
So, but that just goes to prove that no case is a complete cold case.
Right. I mean, this is 30 years later, and they had nothing to go on until suddenly the property they really wanted to look at got sold, and then they knew that was their moment that they could try to get permission to search. Because the people who own it now don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
Not their crime.
Exactly.
So, I mean, obviously they'd be more willing to let it happen. So I have pictures of the truck in the pond.
Oh, okay.
I have pictures of where they dug and found human remains. Obviously they were processing those, but I don't see anywhere where they later reported that they were or weren't, because I don't think they felt like it was necessary at that point.
Right.
Because they've already arrested Robert. They've already done all this other stuff.
Right, they've already done.
So there really wasn't any follow-up on that. In February of 2020, Blair appeared before the 9th Judicial District Court Judge, Hazel, for his arraignment. During this proceeding, he announced that he was pleading guilty to both counts.
Oh.
Now, they did do a plea agreement. Mm-hmm. So I think they allowed him to be charged with, like, to plead guilty to manslaughter.
Yeah.
Which was, everything was approved by the families, obviously, of the victims, because the DA wasn't going to offer something that wasn't approved by the victim's family. I guess the reason they did this is because they didn't really care to have the death penalty on.
I mean, he's already 71.
Exactly. Yeah. He's already 71. His maximum sentencing for manslaughter would be 40 years.
Mm-hmm. So that's already per sentence. Yeah.
Per count, mind you. So that's essentially an 80-year sentence.
And
if you're...
Yeah, and even if he got the death penalty, he'd probably sit there for...
As long... Yeah, he'd probably die before he actually got executed. So there was really no point in all of that. So the family did agree to do that. So during his arraignment, he pled guilty as he said he would, and he received the maximum sentence of 40 years for each count. Him being 71 and serving these sentences concurrently, it essentially is a life sentence. Obviously, victim impact statements were allowed at this proceeding. Iris Seecamp, was Isabel Blair's daughter, and she was quoted by Town Talk. "My mom knew she was going to die by your hands. She just didn't know when." She was the first to give a statement. She was crying, but was sure to look directly at Blair when she spoke. She also mentioned Isabel's mom, who passed away before knowing what had happened to her daughter. She had brought up all the times that Blair had been in their presence, smiling in their faces, when he had known all along what he had done. She told Blair, I can never, never forgive you for that.
Right. 30 years he thought he got off the hook for
30
killing
years.
2 women.
I'm sure he still was looking over his shoulder, all that fun jazz. But to be able to consciously be in the presence of the daughter of the mother of the woman you murdered.
Yeah.
And act like nothing ever happened. Like, how maniacal is that?
Indeed.
Just crazy. But each and every person who spoke stated that over the last 3 decades, they all knew he was responsible for the crime.
Yeah, like, and it happens a lot of time. People they have this feeling and they know that this person did it. Just the evidence wasn't there, or the actual bodies or anything like that.
Exactly.
And they know.
And it's frustrating to know and not be able to do anything about it.
He got his day and his time served.
For sure.
So
Major Baden, the original investigator, also attended the arraignment. Blair's own son and daughter-in-law were also present, and they even were trying to comfort Iris Seecamp, which I thought was sweet. Gwendolyn Coutee, Marian's sister, also spoke. She told Blair that he not only killed that day, he also robbed. She posed the question, what else have you done to the women in your life? Stating that he would rather murder his wife than let her go free. Like, truth.
Right.
Like, I can't stand that whole, I don't want you, but nobody else can have you either.
Like, get over it.
Yeah.
You can't, like, hold and control a person just because you don't want to let go of them.
Right. It's just so sad. Like, you obviously were not in a good relationship or a good place in your own life, let alone anything else. I mean, like, let the woman go.
Right. I mean, it takes 2 people to be in a relationship. You can't have it one-sided and be like, no, I refuse to let you out of this relationship.
Yeah.
So now
I'm going to pretend that I want out of it and apply for a legal separation, but I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to kill your ass, basically. I'm like, wow.
Ooh, the mental health in this country.
Yeah, it's crazy. Normalize men crying, because maybe if they weren't holding all this shit in, they wouldn't act like idiots.
Indeed.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Let them cry.
Maybe it won't change a thing.
Let them have feelings.
But they should be allowed to have feelings.
Right. I tell my son
some
that all
are
the time.
Not anger.
Right.
Or violent.
I tell my son that all the time. You are allowed to have feelings, and you should not be made to feel bad for those feelings.
Right.
So, if you want to express them, express them.
Feel away.
Feel away.
If it's not hurting anybody else, you go on and feel away. Like, I'm not telling you to go out there because you feel like murdering. That's what you do. Like, no, that's not what we're saying.
But, mine's a Scorpio, and he is a recluse and hides in his room. So
yeah.
I'm like, let him out. Let the feelings out.
Let yourself out.
Let yourself out. Go outside.
Right. With your glowy white skin.
Right. He's actually darker than me.
Everybody's glowing in the dark.
His Native American heritage.
It's helping him out. After the sentencing, D.A. Bowman stated that this was only the second time during his entire career that he has seen a defendant agree with the sentencing. Bowman had also stated that Blair confessed to the murders, but tried to claim that it was self-defense. So initially, they were like prepared to go to trial because they thought he was going to try to pull that self-defense situation.
Right. And then they were like, oh, now we have to go to trial and we have to do all this.
But it turned out.
Yeah, you're 71 years old. Just go ahead and just stop. Don't waste everybody's time.
Right. I was like, whatever you got to say to make yourself feel better about it, I guess. So Robert will serve the remaining years of his life in Angola prison. Today he'd be 76, 77.
Mm-hmm.
I do not see anywhere that he has passed away. But also it's really weird. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
getting into the inmate roster at, like, smaller jails in
Right.
Louisiana, super easy.
Yeah, you can see everybody in
Getting
there.
into the one for Angola,
It's on lockdown.
it's on lockdown. I put his name in there 126 million different ways. Still couldn't find it.
Nothing.
So
Wow.
maybe I'm broken. I don't know. Which is weird because usually I can find everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're like private investigator number 1.
So it was just a little odd that I could not find that. But not so fun fact, I guess. Mr. Blair was like a retired farmer. So he literally had told the DA, that he was looking forward to his sentence in Angola because he could plant vegetables for the rest of his life.
Yeah, because it's a working prison and
Mm-hmm.
they farm and grow stuff and
Yeah. So I'm like, is this really punishment for him?
right.
Because he's 71 years old. He's going to basically have someone taking care of
Right.
him, and he
Room
gets to
and
just
board, no bills, and I can garden all day, but just watch my backside.
yeah, right. So I'm just like, okay then.
Yeah.
And that, I guess, would be the frustrating thing for me if I were like the daughter or the family of
Right, because
them.
you
Is like,
want to see him hurting. You want to see
like,
him like
you
his
need to suffer
emotions.
because
Yeah.
whatever, but it's like not really sounding like he's very
like,
upset about
he's
it.
like, la, 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 I'm going to go garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know much about the inside the prison life
Yeah.
over there, so who
I'm sure
knows?
it's not nice. They say it's one of the rougher prisons
Yeah.
at Angola, so.
But I had watched like a documentary
Mm-hmm.
from a long time ago.
Yeah.
For out there, and it was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of the stuff about the rodeo and all the other stuff they do out there, but it's like very interesting the way that place is run, for sure.
I think I watched that same documentary. I also watched the one about the one in was it Arizona or New Mexico where they wear pink and they sleep in tents.
Oh yeah, that's Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona.
It's like a big desert work camp type
I'm like,
situation.
that one's got to be rough. That's
is it like Yuma
hot.
or something?
Yeah,
out there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guard, he makes. I'm like, it doesn't matter if you wear pink. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, who cares,
right? So you're not punishing them by making them wear pink. But
I don't think it was I don't know that it's the intention,
right?
But I really feel like that's probably a little easier to see.
Yeah,
and
out
not
in the desert,
and not as harsh as orange.
Pink is the new orange.
Pink is the new orange. Yeah, at least for those guys. But I think it's a decent idea. They might as well be doing something while they're out there.
Yep.
So,
I mean, and then they actually earn credits or whatever because they can get stuff for work that they've done.
Yeah. Which I guess it makes it, I think that would make it better for like families not having to support people and like giving them money for canteen or something.
Yeah.
If they're earning it.
Right. They can just
pay them in ramen noodles.
They can go get their own ramen noodles and honey buns.
Right.
And hug drinks. Prison food is definitely weird.
Yeah. But all they do is exercise, so it's fine.
So they're like,
they can eat plastic noodles, no big deal.
Plastic noodles and 10 honey buns a day.
Because I'm going to do 36 push-ups every hour.
Yeah.
For 12 hours.
Right. And I'll be out in the sun gardening all day, so, it's fine.
Sweat it out. Sweat out all the sugar.
The sugar and grease.
I don't think you can sweat out the almost plastic noodles, though.
No, probably not. Probably not.
But it seems to be a popular thing to eat there. Cup of noodles.
Yep.
Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, Pop-Tarts. I've seen, like,
Pop-Tarts have outrageous amount of sugar. Way more sugar than honey buns.
Yeah, and like if you turn a honey bun around and look at like the fat and sugar in it, oh, that's more than you're supposed to have in like a week.
Yeah. You better spread that honey bun out.
Spread it out. Chop it up in little pieces.
Share with your friends.
Right. Would you like a piece of my honey bun? Not that honey bun.
Not that honey bun, no. Mm-mm. Keep
Honey.
your clothes on in that shower.
He'd be like, honey, I want those buns. Oh, I just made it explicit. Sorry. You can take that out.
I was just sitting over here going, you've got my anaconda don't want none unless you got honey buns.
There we go. We made another one. That's for all you prison folk who might be listening to us. Sing it away.
New theme song.
Like it's crazy because you'll be on TikTok and there'll be TikTok lives in jail. Like they've got a phone and they're on TikTok live.
Yeah. How do you not get in trouble? Like, do the people who work there not pay attention?
I don't think they really, at this point,
They don't watch it?
care because there's so much stuff smuggled in there. Like they get drugs in there all the time.
Yeah.
They get phones, they get this. So they'll do a shakedown, I guess, every once in a while and take things away. And I think it's more about finding the shanks and the
right.
like
all the
weapons
weaponry
and stuff more than anything. But yeah, they'll be doing TikTok lives in jail. I'm just baffled by it. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah. So, that reminds me too, since talking about that, I'm watching Happy Face on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
With Dennis Quaid. And like to what you were saying about contraband and everything else in there, it's insane to me. So he has like a cell phone and he calls his daughter and she's like hateful to him as she should be. Let's be real here. He just raped and murdered a bunch of women. So she literally calls the prison and reports that he has this cell phone. So his cell gets shaken down. He gets put in solitary. They take all his stuff away, whatever. When he gets let out, one of the prison guards hands him back his phone and tells him be more discreet.
Right. And I think that's pretty much
like they didn't give him back any of the other stuff, but handed him back a phone and said be more discreet.
Right.
I was just like, WTF.
Right.
But I'm sure that does happen.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Because they're monitored, I think, on the regular phones because they can do like video calls and stuff like that.
Right.
So everything's monitored. But yeah, on a cell phone.
I mean, I know it's TV.
Whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. But still, you have to imagine stuff like that does actually happen, though. Like, they'll give them what they want.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure P. Diddy has a phone right now.
Yeah, sure. Probably still has baby oil, too.
Probably. He's like, I need some commissary from baby oil, please. Thank you. What do you mean you're out of baby oil?
I just gave you a
We're
bottle.
Having a Diddy party in cell
2
block C.
hours ago.
Diddy party in cell block C.
That's so gangster.
Right
there. Oh my gosh, I'm stupid.
But I'm glad to see some justice in an episode. That's great.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I personally have done nothing but
missing, yeah. Like
everything I was doing has been like completely unsolved.
Yeah.
So there was no finish. I don't have to get updates for this one.
Well, like you said,
I didn't set a Google alert.
My first one, Beatrice, that was the only one we've done that was like
a
completely solved
true crime. So
Awesome.
yeah, so I just felt like, giving some hope because I've done so many that aren't solved that I'm like, sometimes something can happen 30 years later that brings it to a close. So yay for justice for these ladies because they deserved it. So sad that they lost their lives for sure. Especially because I know I'm one of those friends that will come help you get out.
Oh, yeah.
I will threaten the man and be like, you want to touch
Right.
somebody? Come touch me.
Right. I will drive there and
Well,
touch you.
I grew up with nothing but boys. I
Yep.
literally remember when I was little, my
Mhm.
brother got so mad because, like, we lived in an apartment complex where it was mostly little boys. So I'm like this little girl, and I'm like, I gotta have friends too. So
Right.
I'm very tomboyish anyway because I grew up around nothing but boys by my dad, who can
Mhm.
barely braid my hair.
Right.
Like, he loved me to have long hair, didn't know how to help me with it.
Right.
Crazy. So I'm like, out there in the courtyard, and my brother decides that he's going to bribe all these boys to literally beat up his sister.
Oh my
This is
gosh. You're supposed to protect your
Chicken
sister.
Voldemort, y'all.
Yeah, chicken Voldemort.
So all these kids attack me in the courtyard. My dad is standing on the balcony of the apartment
Mhm.
complex watching.
Yeah.
After the fight ends, I go upstairs and I yell at my dad. I'm like, why didn't you stop them? He's like, are you okay? I was like, oh, I cut the insides of my hands with my fingernails from
Mhm. Defending
punching
yourself and
boys.
yeah.
And from defending myself, absolutely. And I show him that, and he's like, is that it? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay. And he turned around and walked away from me. Like, he literally let this happen, as in, like, I'm going to let you figure out if you can defend yourself or not.
Right.
So,
Well, that was his life lesson. I know
So
that. I know
this
my
is
girl can
why-
take care of herself.
yes. So this is why I'm the friend that's like, I will go, they don't step to me
Right.
because they don't know what's going to happen. I'm a wild card. And even Chicken Voldemort's friends, sometimes who know me from when we were young,
Mhm.
will say something stupid to me over the phone, and then they'll laugh it off, and they'll go, the only reason I said that is because you're nowhere around here.
Right.
Like, I'm super far away from you.
I am scared of you in person.
And so, again, I'm not a violent person, but I will defend myself, and I
Yeah.
will defend people I care about, like,
Mhm.
ferociously.
Right.
So, I'm not killing nobody.
Nah.
But if you hit me, I will hit you back.
Absolutely. Tit for tat.
So there's that. Make it count.
Right. Indeed. Well, that was a good one.
Yeah. So I hope everybody enjoyed listening to an episode that had some resolution.
I did. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, absolutely nothing until I told you right before we
Right.
started recording.
You're like, it's a soft one. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. That's all I told you, too.
Right.
It's like, it's a soft one today. So, our theme music is by Patty Salzetta.
Patty.
Make sure you guys are following us on all the social medias, especially TikTok and YouTube, because every time we take a little trip, we'll do a little
trip. Yep.
we'll do a little video compilation and post it on TikTok as well as YouTube. So make sure you go follow us on TikTok, subscribe to our YouTube
Mhm.
channel. That way you don't miss it.
Yes.
Tell your
Please
friends.
do.
Tell all your friends. Send them links. Make them listen. But seriously, no.
Mhm.
Literally get your friends to listen. Send them
Yeah.
the link. Help them find us. Don't just tell them about it. But obviously, we're
Mhm.
everywhere they could possibly listen to a podcast. So just be like, hey, what's your favorite place to listen to music or a podcast at?
Right.
And then go, cool, I'm going to send you this link.
Yep.
Go listen.
Listen to it. But Hold My Sweet Tea is a Drunken Bee production.
Bzz.
Y'all stay safe out there. And remember, just because we're dipping doesn't mean you can't keep sipping. Bye.
Bye.